Welcome to Google Playtime. Really excited to be here and get a chance to connect with you all today. I'm Austin from the Google Play Commerce product team, where we're focused on investing in our platform to help you drive business growth with innovative monetization strategies and delightful buyer experiences.
Hi, I'm Rich. I'm on the Google Play partnerships team. I focus on monetization. I work closely with Austin and our engineering and product teams, new features that we're bringing to market, early access programs, and working with developers like you to bring feedback back in and to make sure that you're heard. Before we get started, I want to take one quick moment and say thank you for taking the time to come to Playtime and also for your continued partnership. Much of what you're going to see today is built and designed around your feedback. So we look forward to hearing from you after this and in the future.
And some of the features that we'll talk about today are already available, and we want to make sure that you're aware of them, where others are previews of what's to come. So regardless of what the feature is or tool, we'd love to hear your feedback and work together with you on any relevant opportunities. So before we jump into features, I wanted to highlight some of the things that we're working on behind the scenes to improve platform performance to help you succeed. So one of the best things about Google Play is its global reach, with the ability to reach over 3 billion potential users. But we don't want to just help you reach users. We want to make sure that as many of those users as possible are ready for a seamless purchase experience in their next monetizable moment. So how are we doing this? Firstly, we're continuing to expand our library of supported payment methods worldwide by launching new payment methods like Pix in Brazil, one of the most popular payment methods there that was incredibly successful earlier this year. But not only launching new methods, optimizing existing methods like UPI in India, where we recently optimized autopay to improve subscription signups, leading to significant improvements in conversion and overall revenue in India. So we're never going to stop figuring out how we can improve, how we can connect users with your content through more seamless payment flows. And that begins with how they can pay. But then we don't want to just wait until the buy flow comes. We want to ensure that people are set up in advance. So we've been investing a lot in making sure that more users are purchase ready in advance. That means they've got a payment method and a purchase authentication method set up. And the investments that we've been making, as you heard Sam talk about earlier, to drive this have led to a nearly 3% increase in buy flow conversion rate across Play so far, just in the last year or so. So we're really excited about the efforts there that are working behind the scenes to improve performance, in addition to some of the other things that we'll talk about today.
Thanks, Austin. So some of you who may come to Playtime in the past have seen a slide like this. We've launched dozens of features to help you with one-time purchases and subscriptions. Now, we've taken that slide and expanded it with some of the things that we're going to talk about today. This is by no means all-inclusive list. This is a snapshot of some of the things that we think are most critical that you might want to consider while working on some of your biggest challenges. Now, we don't have much time today, so we're going to move a little bit fast, but we're going to try and give you all the highlights for the new things that are coming in, as Austin had previously mentioned. Now, remember, these things are going to help you optimize your app, but also help you with testing and optimizing your revenue as well.
All right. So some of you have told us that you want better ways to sell seasonally recurring content. You could sell a season pass as a one-time purchase, though every time you would need to reacquire that buyer, increasing friction and missed revenue opportunity. Or you could sell a season pass as an auto-renewing subscription, though it wouldn't be aligned to your content availability, and the user will not have this understanding of alignment with the season renewal on your side. So what we are doing is investing in a new model that will enable you to sell season passes in a natural way. So you set up a base plan that initially can have a range of the expected renewal dates, and then closer to your season start, you can finalize when it will actually renew. And this will support the standard trials and introductory pricing that you have for auto-renewing so that you can incentivize people to subscribe and upgrade to other plans. And the last thing is that this works a lot like a regular auto-renewing sub from a user's perspective. They can go and manage it in Subscription Center, manage payments, and all of that. So this is in development now, but it's still pretty early. So we'd love to hear your feedback to shape the final product. So the next thing is when you're optimizing your product's pricing, you have to make a trade-off between adoption and revenue. And introducing upgrade downgrade tiers is one way to increase user choice and revenue without sacrificing adoption. But you still have to decide which are the benefits that you're going to combine into each tier of your subscription. So, if your service has benefits that will have different appeal to different audiences, you might consider adopting add ons as a way to further optimize your ability to capture that overall user demands. So, again, you could sell an add on as a one time purchase, but you'll have to reacquire that user every time. Again, you could sell it as a standalone subscription, but it would be desynchronized from your base subscription. So, you wouldn't be able to control which things can be purchased together. They won't have a combined payment schedule and so forth. So, to address some of these limitations, we're introducing multi-line subscriptions, which enable you to sell a base subscription with optional add-ons. And since some of you may not have seen this before, this is a sneak peek at what the cart looks like. So you'll see that the base item and all of the add-ons are integrated into the payment schedule. The user has a very clear understanding in one shot of what they're going to be paying for over time. And after any initial trials or introductory pricing, the charges will automatically align with a prorated price. So the user will get one receipt, they'll be charged on a regular billing schedule, and they'll just have one subscription to manage in their subscription center. So we're really excited to see what you do with this and give you one more way to expand the degrees of freedom to price your products and services better for your audience's different needs. So this is in early access now, and if you're interested, please let us know.
So what happens if you have a specific group of users? You want to provide special benefits. Perhaps you want to provide them with special features, or maybe you just want to give them some kind of additional pricing discount, right? So subscription transition plans allow you to check the eligibility, determine that the user is eligible for the offering, and then give them that offering for the time that it's allotted to them. So maybe this is a student for 4 years. Maybe this is a friends and family account for somebody that works at the company. This allows you to check that eligibility and then transition the user smoothly to a different plan when the eligibility is no longer met. Eligibility verification can be done by you. So you could set the parameters by which you would allow the users into one of these groups at this pricing point or this feature and functionality, or you can integrate with a third-party verification service. Simply, you just call us and let us know that that user is still eligible or not, and then we'll take the communication straight through to the cart. Now, the notifications are flexible. You can either let us know that the user is still possibly eligible, and then we'll notify the user and ask them to come back into your app to complete their eligibility checks. Alternatively, maybe the user has finished the time duration. Therefore, we'll encourage them to come back into the app, but we'll also let them know that there's nothing to do, so they can just simply transition over to the next plan. The seamless experience allows you to move from the discounted or the special feature functionality directly into the other plan that you've designated upon setup. And the user will take the eligibility, the benefits, and the pricing from that transition plan once it's complete. This allows you to have minimal impact on your generability offerings while also providing this key benefit or opportunity for some of your users. This is in early access right now, so we're looking forward to testing with some of you. Next slide. Auto top-ups. Do any of you have any users who are frequently making the same purchase multiple times? Might be close together, might be over time, but you can think about this as a subscription to one-time purchases, right? So you never want to keep your user stuck in a bad situation if they're trying to accomplish something. A few coins short of some starting of construction, one boost missing before they can uncover a connection, or perhaps not enough credit to uncover the next comic in the series. Auto top-ups allow you to make sure that the user always has something in the bank. And when they hit a minimum threshold, you can call the API and top them up, which just means the user isn't necessarily subscribing to currency. They're not accumulating too much over time into their bank. They just have what they need. And you're also reinforcing user trust. So the user knows that they're not going to be paying for something that they didn't necessarily want. Simply, the developer yourselves create the auto top-up by assigning that SKU. The user enrolls through the billing flow and opts into the policies. And then you call the API whenever they hit that minimum threshold for the top-up. There's no wasted items, and the user has a seamless experience within your app all the time. This is also currently in early access testing. And finally, subscriptions are a great way to have steady recurring revenue. Some users require or would like a little bit more control in terms of how they pay. Now, we just talked about how we can allow you now to subscribe to one-time purchases, but we wanted to remind you that there's also the possibility to purchase subscription content similar to a one-time purchase. And so we've launched this a little while ago. These are prepaid plans. And what this allows the user to do is to go in and buy a single month, or maybe they buy multiple months with top-ups, and then Google will manage the consumption of those items in a linear fashion. This allows for much more manual payment control on the user's behalf, and it also opens up the user to other payment methods that wouldn't necessarily be available on subscriptions. Think about cash. This is hyper relevant for certain markets, such as India, Southeast Asia, and even Germany. Markets where users prefer not to commit to long-term subscriptions for things that they may only need for a short period of time. Prepaid plans all back into our subscription infrastructure. So you'll be receiving RTDN notifications, you can use the upgrade and downgrade, and you can even use replacement modes to move them from a prepaid plan over to a recurring subscription, again, to reinforce that easier, more steady recurring revenue stream. These are available in general access, so you can start using them whenever you like.
All right. And one more for you. So this was announced at I earlier this year. We're really excited about it. Many people are attracted to the lowest price point to get started. They're looking for that short commitment. They're not sure about the long-term value. This is the user who'd go for your weekly or your monthly plan. On the other hand, there are users who would prefer a better value to price ratio, and they're willing to make a longer commitment in order to get that better value for their money. But that makes it less approachable for some price-sensitive users. So what if you could get the best of both with a more approachable initial cost and the benefits of a longer commitment and a discount for the user? Installment subscriptions make that possible by enabling you to offer a plan that renews in commitment periods where users pay in multiple smaller payments over time. Cancellation is only effective at the end of each commitment period, so that mitigates churn risk and overall has the opportunity to significantly increase conversion and even total spend. In early access program, we saw developers with about 8% signups uplift and a 4% total spend uplift for the products that adopted installment plans alongside their auto-renewing and potentially prepaid plans. So really excited about this monetization model. It's available for you to sell today to users in Brazil, France, Italy, and Spain. And we're evaluating additional markets based on your feedback. So thanks to those who've already shared feedback about the countries where you'd like to see this. And we're actively looking into that now. All right. So it's not just about choosing the one right model for your product or service. We've increasingly seen developers succeed using hybrid monetization, where they're combining multiple payment models to meet that user's unique needs throughout their lifecycle. So, for example, over 50% of the top apps by spend have been combining subscriptions and one-time purchases in their monetization strategy. And some of the new features that we've talked about today give you an even more expressive palette to price and offer your products in the most relevant and attractive way for different user segments at different points in their life cycle. So just think about some of the ways that your products could be offered through these new monetization models that we've talked about today, and be ready to experiment and see what works well for different user segments. All right. So we talked about how new pricing capabilities can enable you to offer your product in the right way for the right user. Now we'll switch focus to talking about tools to drive conversion and retention. So purchase flow recommendations, which you heard about earlier, it's an exciting new feature where Play is able to recommend some of your products in the context of the buy flow or other key moments during the purchase journey. All you have to do is go into Play Console and select which products you want to feature, and then Play will try to learn which products are relevant to show to a given user, for example, in the post-purchase flow or on the Play Store. And purchase recommendations are for one-time purchases today, and early results are showing an average of 3.1% of user spend uplift. So we're very excited to see how this ability to do ML-driven cross-sell with a simple opt-in in the console is already driving growth. All right. So then cart abandonment reminders. These are automated reminders where, let's say, even if you have the best product, it's the most relevant product at the most attractive price, users can still get distracted and abandon your cart. So we've got you covered there as well. If you go into the Play Store later, we'll be able to retarget that user with a recently attempted purchase and help them complete it out of app. And this is a great way for you to be able to extend that purchase journey beyond the in-app context and recapture sales from abandoned carts. So this is actually enabled by default, and you can opt out if you want. But we've seen up to 2.4% increase in user spend without any action required by you.
Great, thanks. So what happens if a user subscription method fails? This is also something that we've already been supporting for quite some time. Grace period and account hold are Google Play's way helping you to recover users from involuntary churn. Now, I want to give a quick reminder before we move on to the next piece of this, but in the past, for those who don't remember, account hold is when a user no longer has access to their subscription, but we will continue to try and notify the user. We'll also keep trying the billing method in the back end to try and recover them. In grace period, the user still retains access to your content while we continue to notify them that their billing method has failed, and we'll keep on trying the billing method in the background to see if we can recover the user. Now, if the cancellation persists over time, we will eventually cancel out that subscription. And usually they'll move, if you have grace period enabled, from grace period to account holds and then be canceled out. But we want to do everything that we can to avoid that happening. Can you do the next slide? So now, with more flexible decline periods, we're offering you the ability to modify, rearrange, and organize grace period and account holds in a more flexible fashion. Grace period can be applied up to 30 days. Account hold can go up to 60 now. And the combination of the two can range between 30 and 60 days. What this means is that we're hoping for a high reduction in churn, as well as a better user experience and more control for you as the developer. In early access, we've seen great success across a few of the developers. And so we're going to be moving this into general access soon. You'll see these controls coming up in the console, and you'll be able to start modifying them as you see fit for your users. What's really important to think about is perhaps maybe you have a high cost for your goods, which means maybe you don't want that much grace period or any grace period at all. But this still means you might want to extend your account holds as long as possible in order to retain that user and let them have a chance to recover. Alternatively, maybe you're offering your goods in a market where a user is only paid monthly. That means that a 16-day account hold is probably not going to help. So you might want to move that out further, giving a user a chance to re-up and then resubscribe or reactivate their subscription.
All right. So subscription benefits messaging is a great way to remind users of the value of your product at key decision points throughout the subscription lifecycle. Initially, we only showed this in the cancellation confirmation screen. Just before people are about to finish canceling, they can be reminded of what they love most about your app. And that's something that you can customize in the Play console when you're setting up your subscription product. But now we're expanding these messages to more surfaces across Play, including the buy flow, store surfaces, even reminder emails, and beyond. So as we've done that, we've continued to see funnel impact on conversion and churn, both voluntary and involuntary. So we're very excited about this lever, and we're looking forward to integrating it contextually into all of these moments where people want to really have that. They need to make a decision in the moment, but we want to make it salient. Like, what is it that you should remember about how great this product is? And bring it also into the upper funnel to help people confirm their decision to complete a purchase. So please definitely go take a look. If you haven't adopted this already, just add them in. It's 4 messages up to 40 characters each. You can, if you haven't updated them in a while, you can go back, make sure they're both compelling and updated. But this is something that is very easy to do, and we would strongly recommend that you do it to give your funnel a little bit of an extra multiplier. And we've seen up to a 3% decrease in voluntary churn, even before we had added some of these newer funnel points. All right. So with all of these new choices in how you can monetize, how you can offer your products and target them to different users, it can be even harder to determine if you're taking a step in the right direction towards your business goals. So, you can run your own A/B tests with your own tools, but we want to make it easier to experiment. And last year, we were excited to announce pricing experiments for one-time purchases, and we've seen a lot of developers adopt those successfully. We also heard a lot of feedback that they want a more flexible tool that also has support for subscriptions. So that's something that we're keeping in mind. And we actually ran a early access pilot of subscription experiments that we got great feedback from. And so now we're, thinking about what is the next step there. Stay tuned in that space. But we know that a lot of you are looking for better ways and easier ways to run tests with not just one-time purchases, but subscriptions or even combinations of subscriptions and one-time purchase pricing. So really excited about that. The way that it looks in console, once you start your experiment, you see the results of your different arms, and you can decide whether this is going to be the right decision for your business and easily roll out that change or roll it back. So again, just getting started in the space, trying to empower you to make data-driven decisions with confidence, with less effort. All right.
Really quick, before we get to the Q&A, we'll get a little more audience engagement. Really quickly, show of hands, how many people in this room have an app that's offering subscriptions right now? Okay, keep those hands up if you're using Play Billing Lab already. Okay, couple of people. All right, good. You put your hands down. For those who aren't already, I wanted to make sure that we took a chance or took an opportunity to remind you about Play Billing Lab. Now, this launched to general access, but it's really important that you know about it and you have a good understanding of how it functions and what it could do for you. So we built Play Billing Lab based largely off of feedback from developers just like you. And the idea here was that there were haphazard, difficult, and convoluted ways of testing your app and looking at your flows and trying to see what your user journey looks like. Play Billing Lab helps to streamline that. No more do you have to use a VPN to go look at what a different market looks like. You don't have to worry about creating new Gmail accounts every time you want to see what a new user buyer experience might look like. And you don't have to phone a friend every time you want them to use their credit card to see what the full buy flow looks like in a different given market. Many of you probably have had some of those pain points before. So Play Billing Lab easily enables you to see what the buyer flow looks like in a given market, lets you set up the parameters for which that user flow should be set up on. And then you don't have to use VPNs or multiple access points in order to check what your app flow would be. Next slide. So here's a quick look inside of the app. Simply you set it up with a licensed tester account. You download the Play Billing Lab app from the Play Store. When you log in, you can test all sorts of stuff. You can preview price changes. So maybe you're expecting that you're going to have to do an opt-in price change. You could run through that full user flow in whatever country you choose and see the notifications that'll be presented to your user. This allows you to check that you're doing all the proper notifications, but it also lets you check that your full flow end-to-end is set up correctly. You'll also be able to receive real-time developer notifications in your backend. This means you can test both user flow and see what it looks like through your systems. We'll also trigger all of the notifications that a user would receive from Google. So you'll receive our emails. Finally, we're working on implementing new changes to this and launching new features all the time. So we'd like more feedback on what kind of things you'd like to test and do within Play Billing Lab. For example, in early access right now, we're giving you the opportunity to throw up different types of errors, edge cases that you otherwise would never see, to see what your app experience would look like and how you would react to those problems. Currently, like I said, this feature is available general access on the Play Store, and you can find it in our documentation. And we have some early features in early access.
All right. So thank you again for coming. We're, as you can see, we're dedicated to your success and making sure that you have the tools that you need to optimize your pricing and bring your products effectively to a global audience on Play. Your feedback has been crucial in informing all of the things that you saw today. So please keep it coming, both to help us build these products in an even better way and to identify what we could be building next to help you succeed.